Again, thank you for coming and thank you for listening. This paper is a Modern Turkish Poet, fine-tuned GPT-2. First of all, why Turkish? Okay. It could be done for any other language. It could be English, Japanese, whatever you want. But the Turkish was a more challenging language for language generation, and it was a low resource language. So I thought I would just, it is like spoken language, so I thought I would just go with it. Okay, so what it is about? So actually this started as an individual project. The thing here is that I tried to fine-tune GPT-2 in such a way that it can convey human emotions through poetry. So basically it is a GPT-2 model, actually several GPT-2 models trained on different language, different topics that can write poems like human and convey those emotions. Actually, it's easier now. This was done before ChatGPT, but with ChatGPT it became easier, but it has still several limitations. For example, it is hard to fine-tune. It is not open source. You cannot tweak it around. You want to train it, but you have no idea about where the loss is. You have no idea what happens to data. You know, lots of these and things that we don't know. So it differs from that. As a result, I gathered all the poems, in total 50 poems, with different topics into a book like this, and printed 15 of them. I will actually talk a bit more about that, but first let's see how the process works. So first let's talk about dataset. Like I said, this is not a single model. There are multiple models fine-tuned on different topics. And this was a very fun study, to be honest, very fun case study, very fun work. So I gathered the data set from web scraping from several websites. Basically, I took the poems from there. And there are predefined categories. For example, there is love, there is pain, there is depression, there is justice, there is environment, there is happiness. And the first step was to categorize the poem to one of them. I did that by keyword, okay? If there is love in the poem, I basically categorize it as love. If it is courage, I categorize it as courage. But of course, there are cases that they coexist, and there's an actually detailed algorithm explanation in the paper, but you know, this is just presentation. I will just go through it. If they coexist, I just you count it, and if the count is equal to, you just randomly select it and assign it to a category, but it is a rare case. Let's go over the chapters, okay? Chapter 1 is a GPT-2 model that writes about love, and the data set that it is trained on is topics such as separation, yearning, depression, pain, love, it conveys that kind of emotion. I will show you examples, by the way. Chapter 2 is more about nature. The categories are tree, peace, heaven, environment, flower, etc. Chapter 3 is about religion, justice, God, afterlife. Chapter 4, nationalism, family, courage, mother, father, you know, that kind of stuff. And chapter 5 is more about life. You know, it can be happiness, it can be travel, it can be time. The reason that they differ is that, of course, the main aim is to see what can be done, how far we can push it, how good it can convey emotions. If it was just about love, we wouldn't have enough data to see if it can actually convey emotion. So I chose 5 different topics as for each chapter. This is the detailed categories, okay? And at first, you see the category. For example, there is sea, there is flower, there is prophet, holiday, veteran, hero, etc. They all depend on one of 5 chapters. And the right column indicates the number of poems it contains. So as you can see, there are lots of data and lots of categories. This actually allowed us to generate some good quality poems. Let's talk about methodology a bit. So why GPT-2? Okay, there are lots of models that can be used for it. There's language model, there's casual language model, massive language models, whatever you want. But in overall, GPT-2 is a casual language model. It just predicts the next word and it makes it a good fit for natural language generation. But the most important aspect is that it was available on the target language. I said I wanted to do it in Turkish and it was available on Turkish. And it was pretty popular, so I just chose that. After that, when you try to generate text, you have to use a decoding method. You have numbers, but you have to predict the next word, and you do that by one of the decoding methods. It can be grid search, beam search, nucleus sampling, and top case sampling, the ones that I chose. And at each generation, I basically tried all of those decoding methods. Okay, not just one of them, same model, and as an output, 5 decoding models. At each generation, I chose the most successful output. How I chose it? I didn't use any metric. Like I said, it was like more of a case study. So, and I acted like an editor. Like this is the code, and I am the editor. So as an editor, I chose that, and it is like good to indicate it here. Like it is indicated in paper too. But for example, as an editor, it may be some typos in or like mispunctuations or stuff in the poem generated by GPT-2. So as an editor, I corrected those. For example, it may be a new line, but instead of new line, it may be put 2 spaces. So I made it a new line, for example, that kind of stuff. This is a details of how the process works. Okay. First, we choose a starting word. It quality, like it is a bit resolution, low resolution here, but I will try to explain it. You choose a word to feed the GPT-2 model first. You feed that, and after that, you put a decoding algorithm. Like I mentioned, it can be top sampling, nucleus, beam, and the bottom. What is the bottom? Grid search. As a result, you end up with 4 texts, different texts, okay? And after that, you feed them all to the selection. You select one of them, the most successful that you think, and after that, you select it, you refeed it to GPT-2, okay? After you feed it, you refeeded it, it just continues to generate whatever you want. Okay, it has a max length, but you can tweak it around like this. You just have to regenerate it. If you want to generate the whole poem from the beginning without feeding verse to verse first, okay, this is transformer models. It is not that forgetful. However, still in the long context it fails, and it becomes not that clear, and it has a max length. Okay, this is a tweak. We just refeeded it to generate the whole form. Now let's go to the experimental settings. Again, truncation and padding applied. We use base size of 64, learning rate of 2e minus 5, and weight K of 0.01. Again, NMV is used with a learning rate of 1e minus 3. Optimizer betas are 0.9, 0.999, and epsilon of 1e minus 0.6. NVIDIA tests like KAT being used for training. Models have trained for 3 epochs, and for each chapter, a different model was trained with different set of data set. Okay, so the text generation process, okay, is just like a summary. GPT-2 is a casual language model, I mentioned it, so it is good for generating languages, but it requires a text to begin with. Like I mentioned in the graph, we randomly select a word from the dataset. Then you go to the generation process, generate possible verses using all discussed decoding methods, which the 4 that I mentioned. All of them generate unique results. After we select one of them, we refeed the verse into the model again, and it generates another verse for us. At the beginning, is the editing part. Model is prone to omit new line, like I said, to characters, and it makes typos. And the project aim was to generate a book that you see here. Hence, an editor was needed, and to correct mistakes manually. It happens to be me in that case. Okay. So I will show the conclusion, and we will go through the poems, generated poems. To sum up, we fine-tuned 5 GPT-2 models with different samples from a Turkish poem dataset that I created. Models experimented with screen search, beam search, nucleus sampling, and top K. 50 poems generated in total. They gathered in this book. Book named Gerçekliğin İçinde. Why? Because I thought it is a cool name, and it is about like it is real or not, like human wrote it or not. So I thought it's supposed to be about reality. It is 70 pages in total. Book cover was generated by DALL-E. I just gave the prompt, name of the book, Gerçekliğin İçinde, as a title, and it generated this image for me. It has an ISBN number. It is published on Amazon, Goodreads, and Google Books. When I first published it, the question that I got asked is that, who owns this book? Okay, the GPT-2 wrote it, I trained it, but who owns it? And this is actually still hot debate, because with AI improving, we generate more and more things, and we end up with more and more decisions to make. If you ask me, I still don't know the question. Who owns this? This is the. I would show the links, but I don't have time. If you like, we can just go and check them out. It is published on 4 different platforms. This is the cover. This is inside. Now let's go through the sample poems. For example, chapter 1, Love. We have this poem like, ben sende kayboldum, bir tanem sen bende kayboldun, beni terk et, artık beni sen öldürdün, and goes like this. So it actually, when we look at the category, there is love, there is like separation, there is, the pain aspect of it. So we can see that it actually captured it pretty well. Chapter 2, it is about the nature. As you can see, bahar gelip döküldü yapraklar, and it continues like this. It is indeed about nature, like fruits, flowers, which is a category in itself. Let's continue. Chapter 2, religion. There starts with immediately heaven. Bulutların üzerinde cenneti görebiliyorum. Sensiz cennet kokusu. And what we can actually see here is that when talking about heaven in poems, people actually talk about love too. Love is a prominent aspect of all the poem. Actually, we can see that. We can see that inside from the data set. Even though if it is about other worlds, about talking with God, there is that love aspect of it. Chapter 4 is about nationalism. When we fed the nationalism categories, we end up with a poem like this. Düşmanı öldürdüm, oldum kahraman. Uşağımı vurdum ben anlı, şanlı bayram uğruna vesaire. There's flag, there's enemy, hero. We mentioned all those categories, and we actually can see the keywords here, or like vatan, country, motherland. The last category is life. And this is actually a bit of everything. This is value. It was actually the real test, how value it can go. It is like Yüreğim Ahmet uzaklarda, belki de unutamayacağım bunu. It starts with like this, and it starts with nostalgia, and it connects it with like some kind of holiday, and it again goes to love, it goes to family and stuff. It's like a little bit of everything, and it was actually pretty good conveyed, because of we trained it only with 4 categories. It was about time and like holiday and stuff. One thing that we can observe it, even though if it is 4 chapters, there is a still notion of love. As an observation, we can do that. And references are done.
note, funny work.
Thank you.
Have you observed different decoding strategies for GPT-2? Why you have chosen top K sample?
No, not just top K. There are 4 of them, or 5. Let me show you.
Sorry. Now I get now. You are using different decoding strategies.
Yeah, but why it is not going back? Wait, it got stuck.
What is your observation about for writing poems with different decoding strategies? I think also I trained LSTM method for creating the nation's poetries, and my observation is top case sentence most best for choosing some specific words, but greedy, if you increase temperature and if you use greedy search, you can generate different poems, different words, very varying levels.
So what I observed is that, so as I can remember, okay, because it's been a while, but among these I got the top results from top K and Nexus. Greedy search was like, it can repeat, because it just predicts the next word, and after a while it gets repetitive. But if you have to generate a short verse, it actually works well. But if it is a long, for example, not just verse by verse, like I fed a verse, let's say, and I generated 3 more verses, in that case, top K sampling and nucleus sampling were usually to go with. However, like some of them I used to greedy, some of them the beam search. They were also useful. If I had to choose, I would choose the last 2 of them.
Thanks. Also, a literary demand for the artists. Did they look those results? What is their opinion about these GPT's questions?
A poet. So no, I would like that to happen, but to be honest, most of the people, when I published it, most of the people were skeptical. They were like, no, it's not possible, because it is still kind of new, and people were thinking like, it says AI, but probably he wrote it himself, or things like that. It didn't have that much credibility, and no, I didn't want to push it, to be honest. But I would like that to happen. Yeah.
I know it's kind of
yeah.
But thanks a lot for
For the English part, first user enter a word, and there is a random word for natural and memorization, maybe.
It's like, you have a set of poems, and you just choose randomly. That's how I did it. But if you like, for example, you want to state how it wants to start, you can just say that. For example, you can say like the first 5 words or first 5 true words, even a single word. You can like start it like that.
Is this an application now?
No, it's not because actually it can be, I don't know why not, but I may actually upload it to like make it an application. But why I didn't do it first, because it kind of became a messy code, and there are 5 models in total. I thought it might be complicated, and what I focused on was to actually like have a physical output like this. But why not? I may upload it.
But it's kind of dangerous for some points. For example, say James Vernon. If you don't put a filter, it's kind of dangerous in some points. If you don't move data. If it has remembered the previous data, pre-trained data.
It may have a bias, but this is an open source work anyway.
Okay, yes, it's true.
Yeah.
I have actually 2 questions. First one is about all the decoding methods. GPT is a decoder algorithm, right? It generates some text. What does the sampling, the decode method means? I don't know.
So GPT-2 is a decoder model to like predicting the next word. But after that, you have to like aid the GPT-2 somehow. Yeah. For example, like it has lots of options, okay, as an next word. Somehow you have to go with one of the options, right? How you are going to select like this? You use one of them. For example, it can be greedy, or like it can be like beam search, if I remember correctly. It's like take a line of them and assigns a probability, things like that.
So does the model makes this process, or you choose
The model does this. The model and the code. So, like for example, in the diagram, I didn't separate the GPT-2 from decoding algorithms. Actually, that's why they act as a one. Actually, when you're generating, you give it as an argument. Yeah.
For the other question, how did you evaluate your finding?
So I didn't, like I mentioned, because this was a case study. Okay, I acted like an editor. Like it has possible things, and because this is a case study, I just like took the one that looks the best. Actually, it started as an individual project. Yeah.
You can talk perplexed, or you can calculate perplexed.
Yeah, there's complexity, and actually, like when I submitted the paper, it was the thing that, like the feedback that came, like where's the evaluation. But since this is a case study, and like the main aim is to drain the book and act as an editor, I didn't put it. Yeah.
There were only 50 samples, right?
Yeah, in total 50 problems.
Yeah, and for 5 categories there were 10 for each, right?
Yeah, 10 for each one, with different like conveys, different emotions and stuff. Yeah. Are there any questions?